Hi there, welcome to the 2018 Teals Volunteer Information Session. My name is Kevin Wang, the founder of the Teals program, and you will also hear from Ada, one of our Teals staff member who is a former Teals classroom teacher, as well as Jenny, a longtime volunteer and software engineer at WNYC. So let's get down to it, and Ada will take it away here.
To start, let's think about what computer science means to you. Some programmers, it's all about satisfying their curiosity and figuring out and understanding what's happening in the world. For other programmers, it's all about unleashing that creativity that's inside of you. For some people, it's all about getting into an exciting career with a solid paycheck. And for others still, it's all about causing or perhaps preventing a robot apocalypse.
We all know how incredibly important it is for the next generation to have these computational thinking and software engineering skills because every single software engineering job that is filled leads to 6 to 8 more jobs in the economy, and it's going to be the economic driver going forward. And these are really well-paying jobs, and it's an instant ticket to middle class. So if you're a student who's on free reduced lunch and you keep on pursuing computer science, your kids are not going to be on free reduced lunch. So it's an instant ticket to middle class, and that's really, really important. And however, there's so few computer science graduates out there. One reason is that a lot of high schools in the US do not offer computer science, even though overwhelming number of parents want their kids to learn computer science. And in rural and small towns in the US, that's even harder to come by. And we firmly believe that it doesn't matter which zip code you live in, as a student, you should have access to good, rigorous computer science across the US.
The numbers we just saw indicate that we're not seeing nearly enough computer science graduates. So now let's look at where things stand before college, at the high school level. This graph shows the number of advanced placement exams taken by subject last school year. Look at where computer science is on the spectrum. This raises a couple questions. Why are so few students taking AP Computer Science? Is it because of a lack of interest or a lack of exposure? The number of APCS test takers is slowly growing, more than other exams in fact. But given the importance of CS in the national and global economy, it really should fall more with subjects like physics, biology, and economics. There are many challenges facing schools when trying to teach computer science. To be certified to teach a subject in schools, most states require certification. However, only 29 states have clear CS teacher certification pathways. That means that many teachers are teaching computer science using out-of-subject area or temporary licenses. Many of them haven't even taken any CS classes. They're new to the subject and teaching CS for the very first time.
Now, one would think in a state that has a lot of tech companies that naturally there would be a lot of computer science courses and a lot of students taking computer science, but that's actually not the case. Even in Washington 10 years ago, back in 2009, only about 350 students took the APCS exam in the entire state. This year, with about 85 high schools partnering with Teals and accounting for half the state's APCS numbers, we're getting closer and closer to 2,700, which is absolutely fantastic. But there's still a lot more work to do. For example, look at the number of female students. Percentage-wise, it hasn't gone up that much. Back in 2009, it was closer to 22%. But if you look at the absolute numbers, they're actually really encouraging. Back in 2009, total number of female students that took the APCS exam was 64. And you can see now it's 10 times that number. For Black students, it used to be 4. You can count on one hand. Next year, 5. And now it's 10 times that number. So while these numbers have been getting better, they don't truly still represent the population of the entire state. And there's still a lot of work to do. And we'll continue to work on all of that until all the students of the state have access to computer science. And just because a state is bigger doesn't really change the equation that much either. California, the sixth largest economy in the world, if you look at their percentage of students taking computer science and the APCS exam, it's not that different. And nationally, the picture is not that different. Even, we have big states, small states. You can look at the numbers being about 1 to a little bit under 3% across the board, and underrepresented minorities and female students are always underrepresented across the board. And this is very much the national picture for computer science that we have in the US. Computer science isn't just about programming. Computer science and the ideas in computer science permeates the students' lives. And the key to a thriving democracy is to have informed citizens. And as big issues like surveillance, privacy, big data, AI, digital crime, digital currency, all of these come out, our high school students that are graduating now have to have a basic literate understanding of all of these big ideas in computer science. That's one tier. Another tier, computational thinking and the big ideas in computer science that enables all of these things. And whatever the students end up majoring in STEM, in healthcare, in education, in sports, whatever it is, understanding the big ideas in computer science will be a crucial tool for them to be successful in their future careers. And third of all, yes, computer science, we do want some kids to major in computer science. We want to teach computer science just for the exact same reason people teach bio, chem, physics. Not everyone needs to be a doctor or a chemist, but having that basic level understanding, able to understand the big ideas and apply it to whatever other field they end up in. And third, if some kids end up in that field, fantastic. For the exact same reason, we need to make sure that computer science is taught at every high school across the country.
Imagine you were told to teach AP French. From a teacher's point of view, this is what actually happens when the principal tells them they are teaching CS. Let's use French instead of CS for a moment here. Your principal wants to have an AP French class. You don't speak a word of French. Maybe you've had French fries before or wrote an Appusia once, but your principal says, hey, I will send you to the College Board AP French training over the summer. It's a week long. That's enough, right? Would you be able to teach AP French? This is what a lot of teachers are actually faced with. Now imagine if the principal also said, I have 4 native French speakers. They will teach the class with you. You learn from them. Then once you get the hang of French from these native French speakers, you will teach AP French on your own after a couple of years. Not many people can learn college level French in a week, and neither can many learn CS in a week, but we at Teals make it safe for the teachers and schools to offer it. As a volunteer with Teals, you can take that very vital first step with them. This is why our teachers and schools love Teals volunteers. Teals is an industry-wide volunteer initiative created by engineers and educators. We started in 2009 with 1 school, 12 students, and 1 volunteer, our program founder, Kevin. Now we continue to work by training industry volunteers to teach collaboratively in the classroom with teachers. The key to Teals is that we are working with schools to build a sustainable computer science program. Teachers progress through our support model, building confidence in their CS content, and eventually reaching the point of independence, or what we call a handoff.
I'm Jenny Yi. I've been teaching with Teals for 4 years, and I'm currently a master mentor in New York City. Think back to when you first discovered computer science. Who inspired you? Was it a high school teacher, a buddy, a mentor, or a CS professor? As a Teals teacher, you get to light that light bulb in students' heads, help them take that leap of faith. Mark, who's a teacher in Washington State, says, if you're coaching a sport, if you had a Major League Baseball player come in to coach your team, that's really what Teals is.
The Teals program not only helps teachers and schools to build sustainable CS programs, it also helps to build excitement for computer science and being part of the CS community. Our volunteers provide industry connections where they can talk to students about their careers, about colleges, about what they do in their work lives connected to computer science. Teals also provides some opportunities for field trips or computer science fairs, all while providing items that help build excitement to students in the classrooms. Teals is able to see its impact in the classroom, in schools, and in the industry. In the classroom, students in volunteer-supported AP classes score 10% higher than the national average. 90% of our teachers can teach on their own after a Teals partnership. In schools, 10% of Teals schools are rural, and we're trying to reach that goal up to 25%, which would match the U.S. population. Across the industry, we have over 2,000 volunteers since 2009. And we share our learning with the wider CS education community through, so far, 3 published papers with ACM SIGSI.
Teals has reached over 12,000 students. Arabia, a Teals alumni now studying CS at Smith College, says, Teals teachers teach you to be resilient. It's kind of like being able to build something that's been in your head for so long, and now you have the tools. Everyone should take CS. You learn so much, and the support we receive is very well guided.
Teals provides different models of support for a classroom teacher based on their existing CS background. If a classroom teacher is new to computer science, they're going to be in the co-teach model. In this model, the teacher is matched with 2 to 4 volunteers who are in the classroom 4 to 5 days a week, each volunteer giving 2 days a week. In this model, the volunteers are teaching the class and they're providing lab support, assisting with grading, all while the classroom teacher is learning the material. If a classroom teacher is more confident about their CS background and is able to teach the course independently, about 75 to 85% of the class periods, they would be in the lab support model. With this model, it's for a teacher who can greatly benefit from having regular in-class support from volunteers. In this case, a smaller team of 1 to 2 volunteer TAs is partnered with the teacher. Each volunteer, again, coming in 2 days a week so that there's someone in the class with the teacher 2 to 5 times a week. Classroom enrichment is for a teacher that could teach independently 100% of the time, and they no longer require the consistent in-class support of volunteers, but they still want to be a part of the Teals community and have support of a technical mentor. This model ranges from assisting with labs, assisting with assignments, giving career talks or demos as needed by the classroom teacher. In some cases, schools are located in an area where there's little to no pool of tech industry volunteers. Often these schools are in rural communities. Teals can still support these classes using teleconferencing technology such as Skype. Using this technology, volunteers are able to remotely instruct and assist students and the classroom teacher. Teals works closely with partner schools to ensure the necessary equipment is in place prior to the first day of school. If you volunteer in the remote model, Teals helps to pay for volunteers to visit schools 1 to 3 times during the school year. You've likely been wondering what the curricula Teals supports for computer science are. We have 3. Introduction to Computer Science, AP Computer Science A, and AP Computer Science Principles. Intro to Computer Science has 2 different options, a semester course or a full year option. For the semester course, there are also 2 options. A school can choose to teach a semester of SNAP, which is a general survey of principles through learning a block-based programming language that is visually appealing and allows students to engage in CS concepts in an exciting and non-threatening way. Schools may also choose to teach a semester of the Python programming language that Teals has developed a curriculum for as well. If a school wants a full year Intro to CS course, they will be able to introduce students to programming through SNAP in a semester and then progress to Python in the second semester. For AP Computer Science A, Teals has developed a curriculum modeled off of the University of Washington's CSE 142-143 course. This is a year-long course that teaches the industry standard programming language of Java and culminates in an AP exam in May. AP Computer Science Principles is another AP course. You may not have heard of it. It's new. It's only in its third year for the 2018-19 school year. This course is a broad course that covers a variety of computing topics such as computing principles, issues, and creative solutions. Teals does not have our own curricula for this course, but allows schools to pick from several of our regional CSP curricular partners. For the 2018-19 school year, Teals will be in almost 400 schools in 30 states, plus Washington, D.C. We serve schools that are public, charter, private, religious, independent, urban, suburban, rural, high-performing schools, high-need schools, and everything in between. For the Teals Teacher Support and Development model to be successful, we rely on committed and passionate volunteers like you. Altogether, over the course of a school year, we ask for about 280 hours of your time. This includes time in class, 2 to 3 days a week, in the morning, typically first period, which means you're done by 9:30 in the morning. You're going to need to prep for each hour that you're in the class. It'll take about an hour to prep for that, which includes communicating with the rest of your team, the classroom teacher, the volunteers who are there on a day when you might not have been there. Training over the summer, we spend about 20 hours in-person training plus about 20 hours of online training where you learn kind of a boot camp of educational pedagogy, how to work with students when they are struggling, how to help students without giving them the answers, how to get students to answer a question when no one is raising their hand. We also have meetups throughout the year, which are great for volunteers and classroom teachers to attend about once a month during the year where you can refresh on some training and also just to network with the other volunteers and classroom teachers. For a TA support model, lab support model person, this amount of hours will be slightly less. And for a classroom enrichment model, the commitment will be significantly less. Teals prepares you for teaching high school CS with your partner classroom teacher. We do this by giving you year-round support starting once you have been accepted into the Teals program. You'll have summer trainings and also check-ins with your teaching team to make sure that you guys are on track and ready to go and have prepared for the school year. We have monthly meetups where you're able to meet with your assigned regional manager and be able to go over some training topics and also meet and mingle with other classroom teachers and volunteers in your area. There'll be small group lunches where you can meet with your regional manager and talk more one-on-one with them about what's happening. We have an online community where you're able to chat with people across the country about what's going on in your classroom, what you've done successfully, what you may have modified that worked really well with your class, or what you might have questions about how you can fix it with your students. We also have a community of experienced volunteers called Master Mentors, which work together with some certain teaching teams to help them do their best in the classroom. And of course, we've got swag to pass out to you. So who is a Teals volunteer? Volunteers with Teals are passionate about computer science education. They've learned CS through colleges and universities. Some of them are self-taught. Some of them have learned through boot camps. All of them represent over 400 different companies. They are CS professionals just like you. Why do people volunteer with Teals? They do it because they are able to help build and grow a sustainable computer science program at a high school. They do it because they can leave a lasting legacy by helping build teacher capacity in a school. They pass on their passion for computer science and inspire the next generation of CS majors by being role models to students. And really, they're giving back to their community in a meaningful way.
Teals has grown to over 1,000 volunteers a year. Sylvia, a volunteer in Washington State, is a senior product manager at AWS. Sylvia says, "I'm blessed to have the opportunity to help these guys achieve their goals. If I can do anything to make their life better, if they can improve even 1%, I have changed the course of a life."
Now that we've come to the end of this volunteer information session, it's time for you to join your fellow engineers and begin an application. Applications will be reviewed on a rolling basis, and a Teals regional manager will set up an interview with you to finalize the potential partnership. In the meantime, you can help us recruit even more volunteers. You can spread the word about Teals on social media, talk to your colleagues, your friends, share with them the website, tealsk12.org/apply. That way we can all work together to help build and grow even more sustainable computer science programs.
Thank you so much for joining us and learning more about the Teals program. As a former high school computer science teacher, software engineer, and volunteer zero, we hope that you will join us in solving this national problem together. We look forward to seeing your application.